everybody, it's Nikki here and welcome to another Bookish Friday video. So today's video is going to be all about my 5-star predictions for books that I'm going to be reading or trying to read during 2020. Now, not all of these books are new releases. In fact, a lot of them are backlisted books. They're just books that I have on my shelf that I think I'm going to give 5 stars to, which is the highest rating I can give a book, according to Goodreads. So I have 10 books here that I'm going to show to you that I think are going to be in the top tier of books that I read. So let's start off with the first book, and that is a comical book. This is the Fairy Tales for Millennials, written by Bruno Vincent, and it's only a short book, but this is 12 problematic tales retold for the modern world. So basically you have stories like, let's have a look in here, Snow White, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Jack and the Beanstalk, Gretel and Hansel, The Three Nanny Goats Gruff, The Ugly Duckling, Cinderella, Three Little Pigs, Sleeping Beauty, The Frog Prince, The Pied Piper of Hamelin and Red Riding Hood. And they're all written in a modern way. So if fairy tales were written today, how would they read? And I must admit, when I first bought this, I started reading a little bit of it. So I read the first couple of pages of the first story, which is Snow White, and I was giggling. I was laughing so hard. I didn't want to put it down, to be fair, but I was just having a bit of a read through of it, like just the first couple of pages, just to sort of show my husband. I mean, right there, Little Red Riding Hood is taking a selfie. I mean, come on. So I find this is going to be, this is just going to be such a funny, modern look at fairy tales. And, you know, these stories you'll find Sleeping Beauty, waking up woke. I have no idea what that means. That must be a new term. The Nanny Goats Gruff getting trolled, and the Three Little Pigs explaining that realistically a house of straw is really the only way a first-time buyer can get on the property ladder. So, you know, it's like a funny look at fairy tales for millennials. So I reckon this is going to make me giggle, it's going to make me laugh. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy reading this, and I reckon I'm going to give it 5 stars. The next book on my list was one I was supposed to read for the Believathon back in November, but didn't get around to. And I know a lot of people did choose this book for the Believathon, did read it and loved it, cried over it, because apparently it's a tearjerker. And tearjerkers normally get me. And that book is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. So Wonder is about a boy with a facial disfigurement, and it's all about how he comes to terms with that. My name is August. I won't describe what I look like. Whatever you're thinking, it's probably worse. So obviously this is going to be a hard-hitting contemporary that is going to really make me think about what true beauty really is. And it's going to pull on my heartstrings. And just as much, if a book makes me laugh, it's going to get 5 stars. If a book makes me cry, it's probably going to get 5 stars. I like books that make me feel something, like get a genuine reaction from me, make me laugh, make me cry, make me angry, you know. So yeah, I think this one is going to really pull on my heartstrings, so I'm probably going to end up giving this 5 stars. The next book on my list is a book that I got for Christmas in 2019, and I was so excited for this book, like really excited, because I read The Wicked Deep by this author, which is Shay Earnshaw, and the book is Winterwood. So yeah, I read The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw back in 2019 and absolutely loved it. And I think I am going to love her second book, Winterwood. This book is absolutely stunning. Um, Absolutely gorgeous foiling on the cover. And the storyline of this is that there is a town surrounded by woods, and these woods are supposedly magical or cursed even. And rumoured to be a witch, Nora Walker is the only woman to know the truth. And then one day a little boy gets lost in the woods. He's deemed he must have died. But then he comes out of the woods, not remembering where he's been, what he's done, and only Nora gets to find out the truth or knows the truth. Look, it's about mystery and intrigue and witches and spooky woods, and I think I'm going to absolutely love it. As I say, The Wicked Deep was one of my favourite books of 2019. I absolutely loved Shay Earnshaw's way of writing and making you feel like emotions for characters that you should hate. Like, I'm very much a person who does the right thing, or like, you have to do the right thing no matter what the cost. But in The Wicked Deep, I wanted the bad person to win. Um, Now, if she can get me to do that, then I can't wait to read what she's written in this book. So, yes, Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw, I reckon, is going to be a 5-star. The next book is a book that I'm going to be reading very soon, and that is The Binding by Bridget Collins. This is in my January TBR video, so if you want to know what it is about, then please do check that video out. Basically, it's a book about a man who gets an apprenticeship to work as a bookbinder, and then he finds his own name in a book. It's going to be really intriguing. It's a book within a book storyline, and as I said in my January TBR video, I really seem to enjoy those types of stories, so I am so excited for this. Like, my anticipation of this book has been so high, it has actually stopped me from reading this book for most of 2019. I was so excited for this book, really, really, really wanted to have it, but then was so scared to read it in case it didn't live up to my own hype that I'd put on it. But I am going to read it in January, and I have high hopes for you. I hope, I really do hope, from the synopsis and everything, that this is going to be a 5-star. I really hope you don't let me down, because I have been waiting to read this book for so long. So yeah, I reckon this is going to be a 5-star read as well. The next book on my list is a book that I never thought I would give 5 stars to, but I discovered something in 2019, which is that I love books about pirates, and this book is about pirates. The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. Now, I know that this series of books, I think there's 3 books out at the moment. I only have the first 2. But I believe that it's quite loved by a lot of people who have read it, and I just think this is going to be right up my street. Basically, Loch Lamora is just a scoundrel. A typical scoundrel who steals from the rich, not to give to the poor, because why? But obviously, other things are going to happen in this book, I'm sure. But now a clandestine war is threatening to tear it apart. Caught up in a murderous game, Locke and his friends are suddenly struggling just to stay alive. Now, I hear that there's a lot of witty banter in this book, and that is something that thoroughly I enjoy. I absolutely love clever, witty conversation, sarcastic, sassy talk. And pirates just seem to have that in droves, so I am so excited to read this one. I don't know when I will get to it, but I will definitely get to it during 2020. So excited for this. So yeah, I reckon this will give me a 5-star review. Now the next book has been talked about a lot, I see on YouTube, and loved by many. Not so much talked about in 2019. I think it was more 2018 maybe. But this book has been quite often referred to when people were talking about the Starless Sea, and how the Starless Sea had like whimsical and very lyrical writing by Erin Morgenstern, and this book has been kind of compared to that in the same style of writing, and that is Laini Taylor's Strange the Dreamer. So I've heard that this is also quite lyrical, quite whimsical writing, and so I'm quite intrigued into this duology. Sorry for the if there's a change in camera angle. Middle of a coughing fit, and I knocked the camera, so where was I? Yeah, Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor is the first in a duology. The second book is Muse of Nightmares. I also have that as well. So yeah, I can't wait to read this. I think it will be a 5-star. If it's as lyrical and whimsical as something like Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, which I truly loved. This is about a boy who's is called Laszlo Strange, and since he was 5 years old, he's been obsessed with the mythical lost city of Weep. But it would take someone bolder than he to go in search of it. Then a stunning opportunity presents itself in the person of a hero called the Godslayer and a band of legendary warriors, and he has to seize his chance or lose his dream forever. So it's obviously about a journey that he goes on to find the lost city of Weep, something he's been dreaming about since he was young. It does sound very whimsical, and yeah, I think it is going to be a 5-star read. Now, the next book is a book that is absolutely loved on YouTube and in the bookish community, and that is Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. The third and final book of the trilogy has now been released. I only have the first book in my collection, but this is about a young girl called Mia Corvair, who, when she's only 10 years old, her father is killed, I think, and her mother and brother are imprisoned or something, and she's basically taken away by someone and is taught how to fight and how to get revenge, basically. A lot of people think this is YA, but Jay Kristoff openly admits this is not YA, this is adult. There's a lot of like dark and nasty things going on in here. This book has like notes at the bottom of them, like footnotes. So a lot of people say that can sometimes put them off, put them out of the story. So this is going to be kind of a new read for me, because I've never been like subjected to that before in reading. But as this is such a loved and admired and adored series, I think the chances are I'm probably going to love it too. So I did see the few episodes that Pierre Ford, I think her name is, she did like a few episodes of Nevernight in a dramatisation of it, and I really did enjoy what I saw there, so it has piqued my interest a lot more in these books. So yeah, I think this is possibly going to be another 5-star prediction for me. Can't wait to get started on it, find out what all the fuss is about. So one of my favourite YouTubers at the current moment is a man called Gavin Hetherington. He is from just up the road from me, and he is a massive lover of middle grade books, and Frostheart by Jamie Littler was his favourite middle grade of 2019. Now again, I should have read this for the Believathon in November, which Gavin Hetherington hosted, but I didn't get round to it. But this sounds really like my kind of story. Again, we have some witty banter going on between the main character and his friend, the Yeti. Um, but this sounds like it's about a young boy whose parents are missing, and he goes off on a quest to try and find his parents and understand what is going on. Um, and it just sounds like it is going to be a really exciting and fun read. Those edges just are adorable. Um, so yeah, I'm hoping that this is going to be a 5-star read. As I say, I love witty banter. I love the sassy characters and things like that. And it sounds like it's going to be full of them. So I'm looking forward to this one for a 5-star prediction. Now, the next book is a book that I had not heard of previously to seeing this in Waterstones when I picked it up. But as soon as I saw this and read the synopsis of it, I just knew that I was going to probably fall in love with this story. And the book is called The Monster Who Wasn't by T.C. Shelley. It is, again, another middle grade. And this is about, basically, you know, a monster who wasn't. It's a well-known fact that fairies are born from a baby's first laugh. But very few people know that all monsters come from a person's last sigh. Well, nearly all of them. This is the story of a monster who is strange indeed. He's half laugh, half sigh, and he looks just like a human boy. Disgusting, puny, most monsters whisper, good for nothing. Useful for nicking chocolate, say the gargoyles who adopt him. Exactly what I've been waiting for, thinks Thunderguts, bloodthirsty king of the ogres. Give him to me. So this sounds really intriguing. It looks very much like Hunchback of Notre Dame kind of feel to it, which I absolutely love that story. So yeah, I'm quite excited to read this. It sounds intriguing. It sounds like it's going to be like who is the real monster kind of story. So yeah, thoroughly looking forward to this, and I think it's going to be one of those middle grades that just grabs my heart and makes me fall in love with it. So yeah, I believe that this one is going to be another 5-star prediction. And the final book on my list of 5-star predictions is another one that gets an awful lot of hype on YouTube, and that is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. Now, the third and final book has been finally released, which is The Toll. So you have the Scythe, then Thunderhead, then The Toll in this trilogy, and I believe this is going to be a 5-star read because, again, this is a much loved series by a lot of people on YouTube. They all adore it. It's about a dystopian world where death has finally been conquered. People don't die from accidents. People don't die from disease or cancer. And so instead, there are these scythes who are basically chosen to go around and kill people in order to keep the population under control. And the story starts off with 2 people being chosen to be apprentice scythes, and it's how these 2 people, how they approach their apprenticeships, I suppose, and how they work with the responsibility of the decisions that they're going to have to make. As I say, this is a much loved series on YouTube, and the premise of it really does intrigue me. You know, conquered death. How do you decide who lives and who dies? It sounds like it's going to be really, really interesting, and I can't wait to read all 3 books. I think I might binge read this series, like one after the other. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. So yeah, sounds very intriguing, and I can't wait to read it. So that is it. That is all 10 books on my 5-star prediction list. I know that in 2019, the majority of books that I read, I gave a 3-star to. I think, according to Goodreads, my average rating for books in 2019 was something like 3.14. So I obviously don't give out 5 stars willy-nilly just to any old good book, because sometimes I understand that I've enjoyed the book, but it wasn't amazing and probably is not something that's going to stay with me for a long period of time. The books that I did give 5 stars to in 2019, I absolutely loved with every inch of my soul. I would die for those books. They're books that I would happily reread again. They're books that I would happily advise other people to pick up and read. They're books that I would probably most likely keep in my collection for a very, very long time. Whereas 3-star books, I generally tend to pass those on either to a charity shop or to my local library, sometimes takes them in as well, or to friends or family that I think might enjoy them. So yeah, I don't give out my 5 stars like willy-nilly and just to any old book. But these 10 books, I think I've got high hopes for. I'm really hoping some of them don't let me down because I am so excited for them. The binding, I'm looking at you. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!